Now you're one win from going back to Omaha. How do you keep that looseness and keep it from cranking everything up now?
Well, Hank, the way I look at it is we have another opportunity to play tomorrow that we earned. I think once you start thinking about one win away from something, whether it be Omaha, whether it be a national championship, whatever, I think you can kind of cloud your thoughts a little bit. And this team has certainly earned the opportunity to play tomorrow, and I think that they'll come out and they'll be aggressive and they'll be loose like they have been in this postseason. And me personally, I look at this as a treat. It's a lot of fun. This group has been a true joy to coach and to figure out how we get to this point. So I'm just soaking it in, quite frankly, and enjoying it as long as it lasts.
Brian, up until Kevin's big hit, you guys were 1 for 14 with runners on base and 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. I'm sure one of the earmarks of a young team is maturing is being able to come through in that kind of situation. Kevin's a junior, but he hasn't had many ABs. Was that kind of a litmus test for the team at that point, or did you think, was there some misgivings based on how things had gone early in the game, or what?
I think it had a lot to do with Michael Schwarman. He's pretty good. And, he has 13 wins on the year for a reason. He's pretty special, and watching him on video and knowing what he's capable of doing, he's got an ability to rise his game up to a different level at the most important times, and that's probably the greatest quality you can have as a pitcher. So a lot of the credit goes to him and his ability. There are a couple of times that if we could have just put the ball in play off of him, we would have had a run or moved a runner across, moved a runner up. So, certainly the youth of this ball club maybe plays a little bit into it. We have a different kind of offensive ball club than we did last year. We've got to, for the most part, grind out more at bats where, last year you think about the guys we sent into professional baseball, those guys could pretty much stand up there and hit. And so, and that's what makes this special. I think this is a group that takes pride in, like Kevin said, of hanging in there, and it doesn't matter what necessarily happens the first 6 innings. I mean, what this team's went through over the last 4 games, playing Southern Cal in the first game of the regional, we were getting no hit after 6 innings, right? And we just finally figured him out, but we hung in there and didn't quit and didn't feel sorry for ourselves.
I'm not trying to rag on him, but Kevin did seem, you smiled, just overmatched in those first 3 at-bats. Where was your kind of confidence level? What did you say to him before he goes up when they intentionally walk Joe?
I didn't say anything to him. I really didn't. It doesn't surprise me. I know what Kevin's made of. I know Kevin wanted this opportunity to help his team, certainly. He's going to be aggressive. I can live with that. If he goes up there and doesn't get a hit, I'll have no problem sleeping at night because I know what he's made of, and I know that he's going to give his best.
Brian, you talked about the youth of your team, and when you see teams come back game after game like this and perform in the late innings, usually you think of teams with a lot of juniors and seniors, but you're doing it with a lot of freshmen. I just was curious what that says about just your team as a whole and what they've been able to accomplish, especially the way they're winning right now.
Well, I think it says something to the leadership that we have on this club. You think about Kenny Towns and Matt Theis and Robbie Coleman and other guys that have been on this stage before, and how they teach the younger players how they need to carry themselves, and how they should act in the dugout, how they should act when things don't go their way. Even when we fell down 2-0, 3-0, there wasn't panic. They knew that they were still putting up some quality at bats, and we knew that we'd have a chance. And so I think it all speaks to the leadership that we have, and those young players have learned the right way.
do you need some new or unlikely heroes like this time of year, like Kevin, who wasn't really in this spot last year, or he was hitting?
I think so. Especially on this club, we've had ball clubs where we've been a lot more experienced. This ball club, certainly you need heroes in particular games like Kevin. It seems like from game to game, it's been different players. The championship game, the regional, Pavin Smith really stepped up and had a big day for us, that day. So yeah, certainly it's going to need to be different players throughout the lineup. The pitching, we are who we are. It's pretty obvious who the 5 to 7 guys that we're going to line up with, that we're going to go at you with.
Brennan, that obviously Maryland comes with that reputation. They're going to grind you at bats and make every pitch. You know that from last year. That 5th inning, I think Connor threw it 35 times, walked 3 guys, gave up 2 runs. He had gone 7 innings, in this stretch here the last 6 weeks. Did you think he was going to be able to make that, last that 6th and 7th after that?
I was hoping that he'd be able to give us one more. I didn't know we'd be able to give us the 7th. So certainly they did a tremendous job against him. I was really glad that we only gave up 2 in that 5th inning. There was a chance that it could have certainly been more. And so, I was hoping Coach Kuhn and I talked, and we agreed that he had to go out there and give us the 6th. And after we got through the 6th, that he needed to go out there and pitch us through the 7th. Because you look at it, and sure, you want to win now, you want to win today, but you have to look at it as a 3-game series. And he's got to do his job as our first starter and hold us right there to give us a chance and not deplete our bullpen moving into the next day.
Coach, Kenny Towns seems like he's been in the middle of just about every rally the last 4 years in the postseason. Is it that aggressive nature, because he ambushed Mooney right away, that allows him to have success in those spots?
I think so. Kenny's been around here for 4 years. He has the right mentality at the plate in those situations, and you're exactly right. He's been right in the middle of it for a few years right now, and that's a quality you want your guys to have. Is you want guys that want to be in that scenario at the most important time, and Kenny certainly has that, and you can see why on this ball club he is so important to this team, because he has more experience than anybody else out there on the field, and it shows.
Brian, this is the 4th straight game that Josh came in and finished it off for you. He had some rough moments early in the season as a closer. How far has he come, in that role, and what is your confidence level when you send Josh into the game late?
Well, the confidence level of Josh Spores is very, very high. He has really developed in that role throughout the year. Let's remember, these guys are not paid $10 million a year to go out there and do that job. They're not in the big leagues yet. They're not professionals, so they're gonna make mistakes. And Josh has learned from those opportunities that he had throughout the season, and he's going to go out there and give his best. And tonight, I thought he looked as good as he's looked. I mean, the fastball was 93 to 95, 96, and the slider was really good. And certainly for us to win this super regional, we're gonna count on Josh Spores again.
All right, Coach, what did you see in the quality of your guys at bats in the 8th inning leading up to Kevin's hit? Were there a couple of those hits were with 2 strikes? They're going up the middle, going the other way. What did you see in their quality of their approaches there?
It was tough. What I saw was a competitiveness and toughness that, not knowing whether you're going to win the game or not, that they're going to put up a fight. They're not going to go down with it without swinging. And you hear it all the time, the old cliche, hitting's contagious, and it certainly was in that inning. All of a sudden there's one guy, then there's another guy, then there's the next guy, and they just weren't going to be denied. And that's, this is what I think makes one of the many things that makes college baseball great. You have a group of guys that come together, they believe in themselves, they're going to leave it all out on the field. The emotion that is put into a college baseball game is a lot of fun. It's a pleasure to watch, and I think this group, is going to leave it all out on the field.
Brian, first of all, Waddell will start tomorrow?
Yes,
Okay.
Brandon Waddell.
And like Kenny was talking about, it's been a very strange home season where you haven't really had this kind of atmosphere here. How nice was it did you feel like that did give you an advantage because it was a toss-up whether you're going to host this super regional? Do you think that kind of gave you an edge at all today?
I don't know. Probably. Certainly, there's been a lot of people that have worked really, really hard to create the environment that we have here at Davenport Field, and you're right. We haven't had that environment all year, just because we haven't won as much, right? And so here we are, and the fans responded, and somebody told me that the remaining tickets all sold out in 20 seconds or something like that. That was faster than the Taylor Swift concert because I think I still got mine inside a minute. But it just speaks to I think it speaks to these fans. It's awesome. You look up in the stands an hour before the game when they let the gates open, and you see these people running with lawn chairs and sprinting to their spot. That's exciting. I mean, that's college baseball. That's and our fans are great. And does it make a difference in our guys out on the field? Sure, it does. You don't have a heartbeat if you don't get excited about playing in that kind of environment.